Good Tuesday, good Monday morning. Bienvenido a La Voz de Atlanta. This is your host, Eduardo. Let's go ahead and get into it, guys. We got a lot to talk about, especially right now with what's going on with Operation Southern Spear. If you don't know about it, it's about to pop off in the Southern Hemisphere, more specifically, not Atlanta, Venezuela. Uh, some of them will probably wish it was Atlanta, right? Damn dictator Maduro. Anyways, for those of you just joining in, good morning. Good morning from Atlanta. This is Eduardo with La Voz de Atlanta. We're going to be talking about some things over here that have been happening lately in the Southern Hemisphere, especially Venezuela. That's what I'm talking about. And it has to do with, the whole militarization, the soldiers going to Puerto Rico, Puerto Ricans going like, are we going to be fighting our own brothers and sisters out there? That's what I was thinking too. Like, damn, the United States military, especially the Army, it's made up of a lot of migrants, whose parents came here, legally, right? Now, this could be made up of, Puerto Ricans, right? Could be Venezuelans themselves who are illegal and have green cards and ended up joining the Army. I know plenty. And so it comes into the question of, are you going to have Venezuelan military personnel shooting up Venezuelan Army personnel? That's interesting right there. I'm Venezuelan. You ask me if I was in the Army, would I go over there? And they probably wouldn't do that. They probably know what they're doing, right? Like the military, they're not going to put like the same people to because then you would have I don't think that's how it works. I don't think they send out the same people to do the thing, right, to go to the war, right? I think they just send out like different religious groups, typically also like the ones who would like hate each other, so they'll put like like Mexicans against the Venezuelans because they hate each other or some shit. Who knows? Because the Puerto Ricans get along with the Venezuelans, so you can't send the Puerto Ricans to Venezuela. So at this point, you really gotta think like, well, what do we do, right? So Puerto Rico is being used as a launch pad. That's it, stationary base. They're not actually sending Puerto Ricans out to Venezuela. So you'll have a bunch of de factos going out there, right? But yeah, let's talk about it, guys. So again, those of you just joining in, good Monday morning. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing fantastic. Let me just go ahead and check something over here while we continue on here with the stream, making sure my YouTube is up and running. Because sometimes this YouTube stuff does not want to work, but all the times it does. Let me see. Yeah, it's working. It's working. What about and it always works on X flawlessly, guys, all the time. I never have a problem with X. They should put Elon Musk's people over to work on YouTube's IT department so they can make it better. I got my coffee right here for a Krispy Kreme donut coffee from the Keurig machine, like K-Pods. It's good stuff. And my e-cig, gotta have a little bit of nicotine in the mornings. Anyways, guys, let's get into it. For those of you just joining in, this is Eduardo with La Voz de Atlanta. Let's get into it. Let's go ahead and Operation Southern Spear. What the hell is it? What's going on with that situation? Well, I'll tell you what's going on with that situation. Where is it at? Where we're at? Right over here. I always got so many links up. All right, Operation Southern Spear, right? Who is it, right? Operation Southern Spear involves the United States government. Of course, you can have a conflict without the U.S., right? Hey, check what you made. They're gonna have a war, man. Hey, we're known to go to Iraq. We've known to go to Libya. We're known to go to Afghanistan. We're known to go to and invade Poland, man. All right, Ukraine, Russia. You guys remember Putin, man? What you mean, man? Huh? We deserve to be on the table too, man. The U.S. Southern Command, Southcom, the Department of Defense and intelligence communities, Venezuelan state actors involved in narco-terrorism networks, regional partners like Colombia, Brazil, Trinidad and Tobago, the Dutch Caribbean, regional partners. Oh, we just said that. Non-state actors like the Cartel of the Suns, Cartel de los Soles, the FARC dissidents, Hezbollah-linked cells. That's where they ran. What's going on over there in the Middle East. The FARC. What is the FARC dissidents? Let's go ahead and find out right now. So that way we can go ahead and let you guys know what the FARC dissidents are. Not the ARC, FARC. Yeah, there we go. FARC dissidents are splintered groups of Colombia's former FARC guerrilla movement that refused to join the 2016 peace accord, continuing criminal activities like drug trafficking, illegal mining, and extortion. And it looks like these people are also mixed in with the Venezuelan Cartel of the Suns, which is Venezuela's equivalent of Mexico's Sinaloa cartel, but in Venezuela. And then it's made up of dissidents of also the criminal people of the Colombians. So it's a whole bunch of fucking Southern Americans and Central American pirates and shit just joining each other up. And, I don't know, what are they trying to build over here? Like, fucking fortress made of sand, I'll tell you that much. The Maduro's regime militaries and intelligence apparatus, the SEBIN and DGCIM and FAMB. Those are like the Cuban military personnel and counterintelligence units, as well with the Russia and Iran involved in this shit too, with China. We gotta dissect this one by one. I can't just talk about it all in one, and then you guys are gonna be like, oh, now I know everything, right? No, you're not gonna know shit. So Operation Southern Spear, it looks like it's popping off, right? So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Operation Southern Spear involves, again, the United States government, the U.S. Southern Command. Let's go ahead and find out who the U.S. Southern Command is for those of you who don't know. It is the U.S. Southern Command. Let me see. The command post, Joint Command. More than 1,200 military and civilian personnel representing the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps. So it's like a bunch of, like people made up of all these other branches of, the military here in the USA. And I guess maybe you can call them probably mercenaries. The department of like individual soldiers who don't technically work for the military, but they're involved somehow. You've got the Department of Defense and Intelligence Community up on this one. Right here, boom. The Department of Defense, the DOD. Oh, yeah. Of course, you got the DOD involved with the whole Venezuelan crisis right now. And I'm glad we're talking about it now, guys, because honestly, it's been such a hectic moment for, the Venezuelan people, the American people. The Americans are like, goddamn, what's going to happen? Goddamn, just take them all back. Goddamn, Venezuela. Goddamn, Venezuela's out of here. Goddamn, take my jobs. First, it was goddamn Mexico. Then it was goddamn Guatemala. Then it was goddamn Nicaragua. Then it was goddamn Honduras. Then El Salvador. And now we got Venezuelans. Goddamn, I tell you, we ain't got that many jobs. Goddamn motherfuckers. Anyways. All right, so the DOD, right? That's the DOD right there. We got that Venezuelan state actors involved in narco-terrorism networks, right? And, these motherfuckers, the same military fuckers, the the SEBIN and the DGCIM, they're the ones that are fucking running this shit, the routes. So let's continue here. The SEBIN, DGCIM, and FAM are key Venezuelan security and military bodies. I guess you could say it's the equivalent of like the CIA, the FBI, the DOD, the DHS out here in the United States. Same shit. It's just different names. SEBIN is probably like the FBI. Here, let's go ahead and take a look. SEBIN, the Bolivarian National Intelligence Service. Okay, the 7 acts like the CIA, right? The intelligence agency, civilian intelligence. Yep, that's how they spy on their people. They're the ones that are going out there and pretty much gathering intel on hey, my neighbor's snitch. Hey, I got you, my mother. Hey, he's listening. Hey, I got you. One of my primitos, man. He's thinking about overthrowing the Maduro military, man. Yeah, I got this motherfucker. His name is Rogelio Gonzalez. And I hear him. He's right now in the other room. And he say he don't like Maduro. And he say that he doesn't like Fidel either. And that he likes Donald Trump. Oh, I got you one now, cabrón. Yeah, Rogelio Manchupes Mampules. Yeah, there you go. You guys know him? Yeah. Yeah, he's talking over here with somebody from the USA, somebody from the Yankee. I think it's from New York. Yeah. I think it's one of the dissidents, one of the family members that left like 30 years ago. Yeah. Talking about going to the USA too and joining up arms with Donald Trump. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, come and get him already, okay? Because I think he's already packing his bags. He's going to go to Yankee land. Yeah, hurry up, man. Hurry up. So that's the Serbian people, right? Going out there spying on the Venezuelans. Getting intel, They got all these numbers and shit. You spy on, you get a little reward. You snitch a little bit, right? If you do a little 6ix9ine and, you call up the Serbian line, hey, what we got going on, man? Primito Rogelio hasn't been acting well, man. What you mean, man? What you mean? Talk to me. He's over here talking about Donald Trump, man. Wanting to go to the USA, Disneyland. Woo! Mickey Mouse. All right, DGCIM, General Directorate of Military Counterintelligence, handles military intelligence. They're the ones that are now then, gathering intel on USA military, the Navy, the Army, the Marine, the Coast Guards, the National Guard, the fucking U.S. Air Force, all that, right? Space Force. And so, they're the ones that are then gathering up all this intel. What's going on also with because they were getting their intel also from the Middle East, correct? So now we know 7 is the people, right, that are spying on their civilians, right? Their people, the citizens. Some shit like that in the United States doesn't exist. You'd get fucking, sued to oblivion if any groups like that even formed, right? I mean, the government already does it, at their discretion, right? But we don't know about it. Right? We're not supposed to know about it. Hey, we don't know nothing, man. Hey, we swear we don't know nothing, man. The camera on the street, man, that's just for the traffic, man. Come on, man. Come on. We're not spying on anybody, man. Come on. Did you pay your taxes or what, man? All right, so now we know 7 is the ones who's that handle the civilian people and the foot soldiers out on the fucking streets. You got the DGCIM, military people, involved in military stuff, making sure, getting all this information on on foreign military affairs and, domestic and foreign affairs too, what's going on, with that whole thing. So, and they're operating off like that fortress. And I posted it out on X earlier yesterday, maybe even less than 24 hours ago, what the Helicoide, the Helicoide. You know what? And it's called the Helicoide because it's like a helix made of like 6, 6 sides. That guy Alfredo Diaz just passed away in that prison. It's not a prison. It's like a torture chamber. I mean, I guess in there for without due process, and that's the whole thing about Venezuela. There is no due process. You got one fucking guy dictating the whole nation. Then you got 23. Then you got how many? 23 states. Sovereign states in Venezuela, governed by governors, just like we do in the United States, but it doesn't operate the same way because it's corrupt. And Maduro is the one who's like controlling the whole fucking chessboard here. So that's why we gotta get Maduro out. All right, so SEBIN, the 7, right? They're the ones that are like out there, foot soldiers, civilian. DGCIM, the General Directorate of Military Counterintelligence. They're the ones that handle the military intelligence. And then you got the FANB, the Bolivarian National Armed Forces, the overall military, with these groups often linked to human rights abuses and political repression. Fuerza Armada Nacional Bolivariana. So they're just your general, the Unified Armed Forces of Venezuela. They're the ones with the green heads. These are, so the FAMB, Fuerza Armada Nacional Bolivariana, are these people right here. They're the ones that, yep, the foot soldiers out in the road right here. They're the ones that you'll see, yep, the green painted face motherfuckers right here. They're the ones that you'll see. They're the, like your privates. They're the equivalent of like your National Coast Guard, your Coast Guard, your National Guard, right? They're like the equivalent of like the National Guard, the AFNB, yeah, the Coast Guard type shit. Then we got the DGCIM, which is the, let's see. They're the ones. They're like the SWATs. They're like the SWATs. With special weapons and tactics. That's what they are. Yeah. And then you got the 7. Yeah, same shit. Up. It's like all little different branches of like Cuban military, foreign force, and military powers. So that's what they are. Here, let's go back to my friend right here, and let me see something. All right, so here's the breakdown right here, guys. Let's see. Because you got a couple of different military branches here, right, of government in Venezuela. So you guys got to find out what the equivalent is, right? You guys don't know what the equivalent is, and how you guys going to know? You guys aren't going to know nothing, right? So let's go ahead and talk about it. So the 7, starting off. Let me go ahead and take a sip of my coffee here. Because the Venezuelan army is, by the way, Venezuelan army soldiers, they're not really Venezuelan. They're like Cuban and Russian. The thing is, Maduro does not trust his own people, our own Venezuelan people, to take care of him. Because obviously, right, like disloyalty, right? And so basically Cuba's like getting resources from Venezuela in exchange for Maduro's protection. And then Maduro is out there pretty much. But the thing is, like, Cuban officials are now having talks with Donald Trump, pretty much asking Trump, yo, what are you going to do? Are you going to are you guys getting ready to like take out Maduro? And then Trump's like, probably, yeah. And then they're like, oh shit, then we got to back away. And the thing is, guys, if Venezuela falls, Cuba falls, which means if Venezuela falls and it's going to get better, that means Cuba's going to fall and going to get better. So you take out Venezuela, Cuba becomes better. You get one, you get, bro, you're shooting 2 birds with 1 stone. 2 birds with 1 stone. You free Venezuela, you take out Maduro, essentially you're taking out Raul from Cuba, right? Fidel. Now you're freeing up 2 countries for the price of 1. You freed up 2 countries for the price of 1. You know what? That's what Trump is gonna do for. Now I know why the Trump is gonna, the Republicans are gonna, win the majority in the Senate and the House for 2026. They're gonna use the accomplishment of freeing up Venezuela for the price of freeing up 1, as well as Cuba. So Venezuela and Cuba, 2 for 1. and they'll be able to use it for 2026. They'll gain the Miami people, the Cuban votes. They'll win those votes. They'll win the Venezuelan people votes. They'll win the majority Latino vote, and Americans for something that has been wanting to be accomplished for a long time now. So, yeah, guys, let's go ahead and talk about it. 7. Servicio Bolivariano de Inteligencia Nacional functions as the internal intelligence and counterintelligence profile, Venezuela's equivalent of the FBI and CIA, but focused internally. Primary mission to protect the regime by monitoring, infiltrating, and neutralizing dissidents. That's what they do. Controls political prisons like El Helicoide. So you've got the 7 who's over there. They're the guards. So the 7 act like the guards of the fucking Helicoide fortress. You guys want to know what that shit looks like? Look at this. This guy Maduro. They're running off. No wonder you guys are thinking Trump wants to go to Venezuela and invade. Not invade. This is not an invasion. Invasion is something completely different. We can probably call Iraq an invasion or something. That's probably more fair, right, than this. This is not even close. So you got people out there like, oh, it's the same thing. It's the oil, whatever. This and this. Not. It's what. Look, we'll get to it, right? So you got this freaking guy Maduro. They're building a freaking they're building like a satellite out there of spying and shit like the U.S. You cannot have that in the Western Hemisphere. You cannot. First of all, we can't have this out there in the Western Hemisphere. In the free world here, in this side of the world, you can't. So this is Maduro's fortress, operated by a Russian. Oh, and it used to be a mall. It used to be one of our great malls out there in Venezuela, and then Maduro out here turned it into a freaking prison, to torture chambers. All this used to be a mall. Guys, used to be a mall, and now it's like a torture. It's like a prison inside, right? And so that's what it looks like right there. Looks like one big avocado, and it looks beautiful too from the outside. But what a shame what Nicolas Maduro has done to the mall, the previous mall. And so look at this. It's a whole fortress. I'm sure you have a lot of people that escaped from that. You can't. I mean, if it used to function as a mall, you can't possibly go mall to prison, from mall to prison. Yeah, you can't really. How can this function as a prison? And it used to be a mall. I'm sure there's a lot of escapees every day. You can't. This is how barbaric and idiotic these people are. I don't know. They're operating off some other 1700s mentality, guys. It's interesting. So that's the 7. So 7 is the Servicio Bolivariano de Inteligencia Nacional. Functions as Venezuela's equivalent of the FBI and CIA. That's the 7. All right, and they control the Helicoide, right, which is the fortress. This right here, the fortress of the torture chambers and stuff like that. That right there, boom. Yeah, that right there. So that's the Helicoide. That's where you have your political prisoners, like the equivalent of your prisoners of war, your voice of dissent. People like me who are speaking about it would be in a place like that. If I were in Venezuela, I'd end up in that same place. I would not be able to talk about the regime. I'd be in a place locked up like that, especially with a mass following. I mean, people who are speaking out about this stuff and everything against the regime, yeah, they get locked up fast. So I'm blessed to be here in the USA since I was a little boy, and putting in this free speech to work. And so anyways, works hand in hand with Cuban intelligence advisors. So the 7 works alongside the Cuban intelligence advisors. So they're in communications with each other, They're just like, oye, soldado in Venezuela, how you doing? How you doing, man? Listen, venezolano, soldado, you got our Maduro guy nice and safe, right? Because the Yankees, they want to get him, man. And we have interest from Fidel saying that you guys, not really keeping him protected, man. Ah, huevón. Claro que sí, que lo tenemos aquí todo protegido. Al hijo de puta, aquí lo tenemos. We have everything under lockdown, man. You don't worry, man. He's protected, man. We got him, bro. For real. Look, man, we got him. Hey, better than Osama bin Laden. You guys remember when Marines went to Middle East, Iraq, and they got Osama bin Laden? We got him better than Osama bin Laden, bro. Trust me, we got him better than Osama bin Laden. Cabrón, chúpate mi Trump, man, okay, porque they be saying something else, okay, pero I trust you, Carlos, don't worry, man, okay. Dale, Manuel, okay, estamos en contacto, bro, estamos en contacto. So that's how that goes. They work hand in hand. SEBIN and the Cuban intelligence, right? They're known for their surveillance, interrogations, and information control, right? Think surveillance, repression, and control, right? It's like, the SEBIN, FBI, CIA type shit, the equivalent, right? Edward Snowden, right? Now that's a whole different thing, right? Anyways, continuing on, DGCIM, Dirección General de... Didn't he get pardoned? Snowden? Anyways, DGCIM, Dirección General de Contrainteligencia Militar, right? Functions as the military's intelligence counterintelligence. The job is to watch the military itself. Yeah, they need a department. So they need a department in the department of within the same. Imagine if the army had another department inside the army, and it was called the department of the discretionary of army, whistleblowers or something it's basically a snitching office. That's all it is. Hey man, we hear. Hey man, we hear. We hear Jonathan is is planning on leaving the force, man. Oh, yeah, Capitan. Yeah. They and he's saying he's been talking to people in the USA with Trump. Yeah, other politicians. Marco Rubio. Yeah, Marco Rubio. Ooh. Listen, Capitan, what you want us to do with Cabroncito over here, man? You want us to get rid of him or what, man? Because, man, he's too gone, man. He's already over here. He sold us out, man. He sold us out. What you want us to do with him? He sold us out. He said he was gonna be the best one ever, man. And look what he did to us, man. You want us to get rid of him? We're gonna get rid of him. We're gonna cabrones, tijeras, huevón. Go ahead and prepare the trocas, man, and take him to nowhere, man. Behind the Miraflores building, you know what to do, man. You know what to do, yeah. Hey. Chop them up, man. Chop them up and throw them in the lake, man. Yeah. The alligators haven't eaten in a week, man, since we threw in Alfredo Diaz. And so that's how they like to do it, guys. That's how they like to do it. There's no lying on that one, right? No exaggerations at all either. Completely how it goes. And hopefully that little illustration gives you all an understanding of, how that goes, right? So we've got that's the DGCIM, the Military Intelligence Counterintelligence Unit. All right, so we've covered. So, by the way, if you guys are just joining in, welcome in. This is Eduardo with La Voz de Atlanta. Welcome and good Monday morning. It's cloudy, foggy in Atlanta, and it's cold. So, I'll be running the live stream for a few more hours, guys. Welcome in. The live stream only started about 20 minutes ago. We're over here you guys haven't missed anything. We've only been talking about who controls the Venezuelan powers. Because honestly, we have to talk about who controls the Venezuelan powers. You guys, what I hate about, hate is a strong word. Let me just derail here for 2 seconds. A lot of Americans are always like, oh, go back to Venezuela, man. and just go back to Venezuela and fix your own goddamn country, son. Out here infestating my own damn state, goddamn it. Now, first of all, America is made up of migrants since forever. Hello, Lucy, I'm home, right? Ricky Ricardo, look. And so Native Americans, bro, like the first Mexicans, the whole West belonged to Mexico and the Central Americas, the whole hemisphere. Anyways, look, the Caucasians are already here, right? Since like the British separated from the Europe, right? So, okay, cool. One big happy family. Anyways, second point. It's three military. So all these foreign actors, military foreign actors who have invaded my country, are made up of Cuban intelligence units, Iranian intelligence, Russian intelligence, Chinese intelligence, military forces, weapons, money flowing in too, drug routes and things like that. So what we have to recognize is that Venezuela is a captured state. That's right. Let me say it again. Venezuela is a captured state, right? So if it was so easy to just go back to Venezuela and fix up the damn country, we would. But then, unfortunately, I'd be locked up inside this little place called Helicoide. Why? The thing is, they do it openly out there in the USA. They do it more privately. Like if you're like an ex-military and secrets and things like that about like other countries or whatever, you have a high chance of ending up in like an underground military bunker somewhere in the USA without your family knowing. They'll just send over a casket with a flag on top and they'll say, "We're sorry, ma'am. Your son died protecting the country and the Constitution in the 1776 amendments. Oh no, why me? Why was he the one who did it, man? Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. He just took a bomb, on behalf of the squad, and a couple of his fellas survived, but goddamn, he really ended up, that's right, making it right. By the way, there's nobody there. But by the way, guys, I was just trying to, because I know it might have went over some people's heads. I'm like the guy at the door, delivering the news. The soldier died, and the one of the privates coming by, and he's like, "Oh, like get the fuck out of here, motherfucker!" Like I'm just bullshitting her, guy. Like, he didn't really take a bomb for the team, motherfucker. He's being held up in some bunker, and now they think he's dead, right? But these motherfuckers in Venezuela, they're sloppy. They don't know how to do shit. So that's why Trump has to step in, because China, Russia, and Iran are taking advantage of stupid Maduro. That's all it is. Like dumb Maduro. I don't want to use language like that because I'm supposed to be a professional news anchor here, right? For my own brand. Well, this is my brand. Look. And so Maduro needs to go because he's being sloppy, honestly, with the work. And by the work, I mean, like, the guy already bankrupted Venezuela. Get him the hell out. Put in someone who's not going to bankrupt Venezuela and who's not going to serve as the satellite hub of freaking China, Iran, and Russia. All right. At the end of the day, guys, you think it's about the oil? We could care less about the oil. The United States has much more reserves, right? Like, it's not about the oil because, it's an added bonus. It's a feature, but it's not like the grand all be all of why it is that this is being done. Is because we can't afford Russia, China, and Iran from being in Venezuela and being 30 miles from Puerto Rico, our territory, right? And then 100 miles from Miami, which is the USA, right? Where you got presidents, dictators out there running things like that are called Helicoide, right? Which is a freaking prison fortress here for all the dissent voice and all the political people and everybody who's against Maduro and everything like that. You end up here. North Korea has their own version to it, everything. So that's where you end up, right? So the Sabine are the guards working inside this fortress, and they're the equivalent of like FBI, CIA, and they're operating inside this dome. And it's scary looking, guys. Like, look at this. Imagine. That's right, Americans. This is the reality of Venezuela. for those of you who don't know, this is the reality that's been ongoing now for more than like 10 years right here, guys, because, this is that fortress. That's the Helicoide right there in Caracas. You guys like that? Let me go ahead. Just think about it. That's where voice of dissent ends in. Then you've got people like, the equivalent of what like FBI and CIA are in Venezuela, the SEBIN, SEBIN, out there running this shit. I don't think you guys really want that stuff to be out here in the United States too, right? Out in the open at least, right? That's the good thing about the USA. You've got your checks and balances. You've got your three branches of government. Damn it, Donald Trump, if you're listening to this, take out Maduro and put me as president of my own country, Venezuela. I'll run it so good, sir. Dude, I will end up, look, the three governors in Venezuela, look, they'll run their own shit. Like I'll put each one like at DeSantis. Each one will be like at DeSantis. It can be done. But then we got these stupid ass, freaking narco ass Maduro people and Chavez people wanting to essentially, run that shit like it's back in the day. I don't know, Rome. Like it's fucking Rome, fucking Caesar's days again and shit. Simon Bolivar, we're here with the swords of destiny. Like, what the fuck are they thinking? Like, are they stupid? Right? Excuse my, language here, but it's true. You got that's what you're seeing right there. The result of a failed government. Of a failed state, of a Maduro Chavez failed entity, failed enterprise. That's what it is. It's an enterprise. You got the guy running drugs across Europe and into Miami, cocaine and shit. The meth comes from China. But the cocaine and all that, good shit comes over from Venezuela. Not the good shit, the bad shit. Not the good shit, and then especially nowadays, it's all mixed in with fentanyl. So because Venezuela's dealing with China, you got now tainted cocaine with fentanyl. So fuck them too, fuck them too. Or they're, tainting cocaine and shit. It ain't even like that cocaine from back in the day anymore. It's tainted cocaine. Who the fuck wants that shit? Americans want real cocaine like it used to be back in the day. We can't even get that shit nowadays, guys. Can't even get that shit nowadays. And so, what is there to be done now? Well, I'll tell you what is there to be done. We got to get Maduro out so we can come back again to our senses as a Western Hemispheric family. So Venezuela can go back to being better because this guy's running stuff like this. So let's continue on. SEBIN, Servicio Bolivariano de Inteligencia Nacional. Which is internal intelligence and counterintelligence. Venezuela's equivalent of the FBI and CIA, focused internally. Primary mission, protect the regime by monitoring, infiltrating, and neutralizing dissidents. Basically, they're the foot soldiers of the regime, going out there and locking. They're like the Nazis, basically. If in America you had like social workers out here, but like on an extreme steroidal level. But it's not like social workers. It's like it doesn't exist in the U.S. because there's no need for it, because we don't play clown games in the USA. We have branches of government who are already established. So SEBIN is some made up bullshit that came up to be like years ago. And so anyways, controls political prisons like Helicoide. So they control this right here, the Helicoide, right? Works hand in hand with the Cuban intelligence advisors. Hey, Manuel, you got me that batch of cabrones? Sí, huevón, I got you, man, I got you. Right? Between Cubans and Venezuelans. Known for surveillance, interrogations, and information control. Think surveillance, repression, and political control. That's the SEBIN 7. All right, guys, that's the first part. Now we got the DGCIM, Dirección General de Contrainteligencia Militar, which is military intelligence and counterintelligence. I know you're thinking, isn't it the same as the first one, 7? It's not. This is more like for the citizens, for the citizens, for the residents, the people. This is more like military itself. This is more like now it's like, think of like if the army needed another department to supervise the army, like the army needing to supervise the army. and they do. It's called internal affairs, but it's in a fucked up way. Whether it's not really like internal affairs, it's more like a snitching department. It's like an informal snitch department type shit. Like, hey, let me know if any of the soldiers or anything like that is like planning on like, getting away or like snitching out on us and stuff like that, becoming a de facto. That's what it is, right? Their job is to watch the military itself. That's all. Prevent coups, detect disloyal officers, interrogate suspected traitors, controls prisons like Boleita, which is another prison that they have out there. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the Boleita is. It probably looks like some nasty shit too, doesn't it? Oh, it's inside the same Helicoide, huh? Look at that. They turned the whole ass mall into different prisons. The federal and the state prison inside the mall. Holy moly. No, we gotta get these people out of here, dude. Considered even more brutal and feared than 7. Oh, okay, so the DGCIM is even worse than the 7s. The 7s are like actually like even, they're actually more chill. The FBI CIA equivalent, right? They're more chill. But the DGCIM, the military intelligence, more brutal and feared. Think policing the armed forces so Maduro sleeps at night. Wow, man. Now who the fuck are patrolling them motherfuckers? And then you got the FAMB, Fuerza Armada Nacional Bolivariana, National Armed Forces. Think Army, Navy, Air Force, National Guard, National Militia. That's all that is within that department. So they don't have in Venezuela an army, a navy, a national guard. They don't have none of that shit. They have it all in one. They have a shampoo special. They have a 10-in-1. The same shampoo works as a fucking body wash, deodorant, lotion, suntan, aloe vera gel for sunburns. Fuerza Armada Nacional Bolivariana. That's the FAMB. Constitutionally meant to defend the nation, but under Chavez, Maduro became politicized. Leadership is deeply tied to the regime via promotions, loyalty tests, and corruption networks, fragmented into Ejército, Army, Armada, Navy, Aviación Militar, Air Force, GMB, Guardia Nacional Bolivariana, National Guard, Milicia Bolivariana, which is paramilitary civilian force used for regime defense. Think the formal armed forces, but politically captured. The armed forces out here cannot be politically captured because you got the 3 branches of government: judicial, executive, and legislative. So you got the courthouses, the Supreme Court. You got Trump's in the office. That's the other one, and then you got you got executive, legislative, and then damn it, I just said the 3 of them, guys. Legislative, executive. And it was continuing on. Legislative, executive, branches of government. Come on, bro. I just had that shit, bro. Fuck that shit. Legislative. Can't believe I'm doing this shit. And judicial, bro. Judicial. Fuck. All right. I knew that one. Continuing on. So that's what Venezuela's made up of with those governments, right? We've got the 7, right? The Internal Intelligence and Counterintelligence Unit, right? Who patrol the citizens and the residents, right? And they're the ones arresting and the citizens, right? Putting them in Helicoide, right? This little place right here. Then you've got the DGCIM, right? Military intelligence and counterintelligence, right? Their job is to watch for the military itself, preventing coups, disloyal officers, interrogating suspected traitors, right? More fear than the 7, right? So they're not really dealing directly with the public. Then you've got the FAMB, the Fuerza Armada Nacional Bolivariana, which is, the equivalent of what that's, the Army, Navy, militia, and all that shit, right? So it's It's a fucked up capture state, to be honest with you. Imagine if that's how it was out here in the USA against the people. You couldn't possibly have that because the people would take up the arms. The American people would take out the old AK-47. They'll take out old Lassie. They'll take out the 30-06. They'll be ready with the 7.57s and the 5.52s, and they'll be ready to just go against these motherfuckers of the equivalent of what the DGCIM and the FAMB are, and even the the 7, the SCBIN. Imagine if that shit was in the United States. The American people would take out old Lassie out of their fucking closets and, let's go, motherfuckers. Goddamn, we ain't gonna be like no Maduro, no goddamn Chavez out here, goddamn it. I'll tell you who would, goddamn it. This is Alabama. Ain't nobody coming down here for me. This is my land. We goddamn built this shit. My great-granddaddy with his own bare claws. That's right. Still got them fingernails locked in the basement from his ass. That's right. Anybody goddamn want to? Ain't gonna want to after. Where the hell he at, Maduro? Where he at? Goddamn you, goddamn all you motherfuckers. Anyways, and so that's how it'll turn into, right, guys? It couldn't possibly happen over here at all. Let's see. Let's continue on with the. So the 7 hunts dissidents, the CDGIM hunts disloyal officers, and the FAMB, stays loyal because their careers, their wealth, and freedom depend on the regime. So basically, like all the soldiers in Venezuela, they're poor as fuck, so they ended up joining the armies and everything like that, so they can stay afloat to feed their families. Right, that's how that works. And so given intelligence coming with intelligence, right for you. Okay, boom. So that's how that goes. Continuing on, guys. Let's continue. So operation. So now that we know everything, that took about 30 minutes. A little lesson right there. But now we know how Venezuela operates. 7. SEBIN, Servicio Bolivariano, blah, 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 which is the hunting down dissidents, hunting down residents, citizens who are speaking out against the regime. Those are the first motherfuckers that if he was in the U.S., they'd be pink mist everywhere, just like that, bro, because, they're lucky they're not in the United States, bro. They're lucky they're not in the United States. Hey, you telling me what? Manuelito from when we were in 3rd grade, man? He joined the saving? Bro, if that shit, bro, just tell me, hey, man, what about the family? They know about that shit? Oh, they do? Hey, man, if I was over there, man, that motherfucker was getting popped right there, man. Right there, bro. Right there, be getting popped, bro. Right there. Tell that motherfucker to come over here to the U.S., man. I'll meet him in Miami. Yeah, right there in Fort Lauderdale. Woo! Tell him to come by boat. It'll take 2 hours. I'll pop him right there when it comes to the dock, motherfucker. Over here, motherfucker, going against Venezuela, motherfucker. What's wrong with him, huh? Manuelito, man, fuck that guy, huh? Over there selling out the Venezolanos and shit. I'll fuck him up. Right? So, and that's bad too about what's going on in Venezuela. It's got family members really like against each other. Many years. It's been going on for 30 plus years. It's broken many families, mine's included. I mean, I'm no exception here, but that's why I want to talk about it and be part of this whole thing and movements and start to create something new because enough is enough. Enough is enough. In español, how it goes, basta es basta. That's it. Enough is enough. Can't be having this for what, another 30 years? So my children grow up watching this same shit? No, I don't want them to see this shit, else. They're already like 10 years old, but, there's, ain't no hope lost. Ain't no hope lost. Look, Operation Southern Spirit is a multi-domain U.S. military and intelligence operation focused on tracking, mapping, and disrupting narcotics trafficking networks. Targeting terrorist-affiliated groups entrenched in Venezuela, monitoring and preparing for potential kinetic actions like limited strikes and special missions, strengthening regional surveillance through maritime, aerial, and space-based assets, applying maximum strategic pressure to destabilize criminal state alliances. So it's not a declared invasion, but it's a legally intelligence-supported counter-narcotics and counter-terrorism mission that allows the U.S. to justify operations under existing statutes. Now I understand what's the whole thing with Pete Hegseth is going around on X and all social media, and everybody's like, fuck this guy. And, you know, I'm over here like, look, if Trump chose Pete, it must be because of something, right? Let's look into it. Well, we now know why Pete Hegseth has the right to, you know, go ahead and do everything that he's been doing and blowing up narco boats, because part of that whole thing means tracking, mapping, and disrupting narcotics trafficking networks. Operation Southern Spear, which is a multi-domain U.S. military and intelligence operation, joint task force military operation to take out, because you need different, because you know how you got, because the thing is, guys, Venezuela's not that retarded. I mean, look, I understand like the military and Maduro, they're retarded, right? Is this on YouTube? You know, I think they allow that word, no? YouTube. I know I'm on X and Rumble, but I don't know about, you know, I know YouTube. Susan Wojcicki, I don't know. You know, I know that you know, she's already like, you know, rest in peace or whatever, but anyways, I don't know what the policy is too much on that one yet. Anyways, Maduro's retarded. I think we can all agree with that one, even the platforms. Point is this one, right? So we got tracking, mapping, and disrupting of narcotics trafficking networks, Operation Southern Spear, right? So because you've got the 7, right, which obviously they'll stop operations against the citizens, and they'll join with the DGCIM, who militarize, who, you know, is hunting down, you know, disloyal officers and shit. These people are a lost cause, bro. They lost. Like, they've got the army watching the army. They've got a separate army watching the citizens. If you've got people, if you've got a government of just, you know, watching each other, you know, hey, I'm watching you, man. Hey, I'm watching you too, man. Hey, I'm watching you too, man. Hey, we're all watching each other. Then who's watching us? Hey, I don't know, man. Hey, what is that over there? Hey, I think it's a bird. No, it's a plane. No, it's Maduro flying. What? No, cabrón, it's a missile from the USA. Holy shit. Because while they were all busy fucking, you know, watching each other, you got the SCBIM watching the DGCIM, watching the fucking FAMB, you know, all watching each other, just smelling each other's asses all day. That's why they lost, bro. They lost. That's why when Maduro took a picture recently in the media, in the press, you know, like this, you know, like, he looked like he was crying, bro. Like, I'm sorry, man. I really thought we were gonna win the war, man, but I don't know, man. I know Putin sold us a few guns last week, man. There were some pretty good AK-47s, man, but I asked them, look, man, Putin, we don't want the weapons. What we want, Chico, is for you and your soldiers to come to Venezuela on a boat and help us, man. Come on, man. Putin said, hell no, we're not sending any of our soldiers. I mean, look, we're glad to sell you weapons, though. We'll definitely give you some guns. We'll give you guns. You know how stupid Russia would be? But you know how ridiculous Putin would have to fucking be to be like, yeah, Maduro, I'll go and send over 100,000 Russian soldiers to Venezuela on a nice little ship. Woo! You know, and just pretend like they're gonna fucking just what, go to Venezuela, join up the FAMB, the Fuerzas Armadas, the fucking Venezuelan army, and then what? First of all, you would have to have Russia train the Venezuelan FAMB. Those idiots don't know how to fucking, you know, read an analog clock. You know, they're used to digital, you know, ever since, you know, Maduro tossed away the old ones. You know, that way they couldn't tell the time difference. I can control it from el Helicoide. It's now 9:59 a.m., cabrones. No daylight savings for you. So you've got that going on, right? So you would have to have the Russians, train up the FAMB? Fuck that shit. And the DGIMC, because it's Cuban soldiers and shit too anyways. Those idiots are stupid too, right? All right, let's continue on over here, right? So, no, Russia said, you know what, we can sell, you know what, Maduro, we can sell you the weapons, you know, Maduro, we can sell you the weapons, but we cannot sell you anything else, man. We're not sending our soldiers. Putin, listen, Maduro, listen to me, Maduro, listen to me, Maduro. I cannot afford another conflict with Trump, man, okay? Listen, I told you one time, man. I cannot afford another conflict with Donald Trump. I'm already like this with the damn dude, okay, man? It's got Ukraine like this, and I really need Kiev, okay? The flying soldier, yeah, you know? Yeah, the ghost of Kiev, man, he's real. I owe him some money, man. Look, Maduro. You get the fuck out. Man, look. Spatch now, man. What the fuck chewing? We can sell you the weapons. I'm not selling no soldiers, man. Cash. 100,000 specimens. And we call it a day, man, okay? And so that's what Putin said, right? To Maduro, said, you know what, man, we'll send you the guns, but we won't send any men, right? Kind of sounds like a fair trade, right? I mean, after all, the USA did only send out, you know, during Biden's administration, weapons to Ukraine so they can protect themselves against Russia at the time when, you know, Biden was sending so much money to, like, you know, Zelensky. Anyway, that's another live stream. We're not even going to talk about that one right now. But anyway, so all right, Operation Southern Spear. And if you just joined the live stream, guys, we've been yapping for about 35-40 minutes now. Pretty much the first segment of this was who the SEBIN and the DGCIM and the FAMB of Venezuela is, which makes up the three branches of corrupt government that make up Venezuela, which is the ones that hunt down the dissident voices and the citizens and the residents of Venezuela, the ones that go against the regime. They're the SEBIN, and traditionally a little bit more friendlier, way friendlier actually than the DGCIM. The DGCIM are the military officers who hunt down disloyal officers, dissident diplomats, dissident voice within the military, escapees, you know, officials that are about to snitch out to other governments and everything, and, you know, pull the plug. They're more rough. They're more rougher than the SEBIN. And then you've got, you know, that, and then you've got after that the FAMB, which is what makes up the Army, the Navy, the Coast Guard, all that into one, which is FAMB. The guys with the green painted faces that look like the mask with Jim Carrey, 1996, you know, with the black stripe going across diagonally. Yeah, that's the FAMB. Those three branches, the corrupt ones, yeah, they make up the Venezuelan shit, right? And then they go into a place like this, the dissident voices, and, you know, if I were talking right now and shit, the way I am here in the USA, out there in Venezuela, I end up in this little same place called the Helicoide. They turned this shit into a fucking prison. Are those bar rooms and shit, bro? This shit is crazy. Look, you got motherfuckers out there. Just, I'm sure you got, you know, ones that escape and everything all the time too. So, well, yeah, that's it right there. The Helicoide. You got, yep, the Helicoide right there. Boom. You guys like the Helicoide? I don't like the Helicoide. All right, so Operation Southern Spear. Welcome back. Eduardo, with La Voz de Atlanta. Welcome back. Look, United States government. Who is involved? U.S. Southern Command, right? Hexath, all that stuff, right? What they're in charge of: tracking, mapping, and disrupting narcotics trafficking networks, targeting terrorist-affiliated groups entrenched in Venezuela, like the SEBIN, the DGCIM, and the FAMB. All of them, because they're all corrupt. They're all in the same fucking, and they're all the same shit, right? But they operate differently in Venezuela. So you're not going to have the three groups. You're not going to have the SEBIN do what the DGCIM does, do what the FAMB does, right? The FAMB and the DGCIM and the SEBIN, the SEBIN, they do complete different shit, right? The three groups. But if it comes down to it, which is what it's coming down to with the whole thing with USA stationing in Puerto Rico, getting ready to, like, you know, go out there in Venezuela, they're going to join up arms together, the three, as the SEBIN, the DGCIM, and the FAMB. The three of them are going to obviously, you know, link up together and be like, hey, man, we're going to take care of business. Hell, they're even handing out weapons to like the citizens of Venezuela, and they're like, bro, we don't want this shit. You go fight, motherfucker. We didn't ask to be in this shit, motherfucker. We didn't ask to be in this shit, motherfucker. Shit, primito, what you mean, man? You want me to take up the AK, man? Yeah, you know what? Give it to me, man, because I'm gonna shoot you, motherfucker, for fucking being a traitor to the family. You fucking cabrón puto motherfucker. Right? That's the only way they'll probably get one. We've got that, and so that they'll join up, right? So the whole thing with Trump wanting to do with what he is to Venezuela, and the reason why he can, because it's not a declared invasion, it's a legal intelligence supported counter narcotics and counterterrorism mission that allows the U.S. to justify operations under existing statutes. It's already in the books, guys. Trump has all the right to go to Venezuela, not under an invasion, under the premise of protecting the hemisphere. There it is, guys. Trump has every right to go to Venezuela and send out the army out there. You know why? Because it's not an invasion. He's going under the legal intelligence-supported counter-narcotics and counter-terrorism mission that allows him to justify the operations already underway within the existing statutes of the uniform codes of military action. That's why you see on social media right now everything about, the uniform code of this, that, and the other. So that's what's going on with that situation, right? All right, now why? Right? Now, we've got, so if you're just joining in, I see that we've got a lot of viewers coming into the live stream. Welcome back, guys. This is Eduardo with La Voz de Atlanta. I'm running this on X live stream feature as well as all on StreamYard. Fantastic option. It took me like a whole week to understand all this stuff with the help of ChatGPT also. But so running on this on there, YouTube live stream as well, and Instagram live too. But anyways, let's go ahead and get to, the who, what, why, where, when, and how, the explanations, questions, solutions, everything, right? We're going to get all that on Operation Southern Spear, because it's a hot topic, guys. It's a hot topic, and we're going to have to talk about it. So if you guys are just joining in, again, welcome back to the live stream. Look, we're running on X, we're running on YouTube, we're running on Instagram Live, right? And we're talking about the whole thing with Operation Southern Spear and what it is, who it is, why it is, what's going on, where it's going on, how it's going on, the what, where, when, and how, the explanations, Q&As, everything. We're gonna have all that as we continue on. We just got done running with what the SEBIN was, right? The SEBIN, which is basically, in summary, the police that hunt down and arrest the citizens of Venezuela for going against Maduro's regime. So it's like it's like if we spoke out against Donald Trump, then you would have somebody come and pick you up from your house, which would be the SEBIN, SEBIN. Of course, you wouldn't let that happen. You pop the guy in the door before you could even let him for just posting a meme on what Trump, or Biden, right? And so that's the SEBIN. Then you got the DGCIN, It's like if you start, then that's who then police, that's like if the army had like a snitching department for people like, hey man, we got a snitch, hey man, we got a private, bro, we got a general who's, we got a lieutenant, bro, lieutenant command, bro, we got the lieutenant commander, bro. Ooh, man, I got some noticias. He said he's gonna go to Donald Trump and call him right now, man. And he's gonna snitch on the whole entire operation, man. Yeah, we gotta take him out, bro. We gotta take him out right now. Right now. We gotta take him out right now, guys. Okay, what you want me to do, Maduro? What you want me to do, Maduro? I'm pointing at him right now, Maduro. Well, I told you don't snitch on us, man, and you snitch on us, man. Huh? You were the best soldier in the commandant in the higher group, man. Huh? I told you, in Maduro we trust, man. In Maduro we trust, okay? He's going to get us out of the poverty, man. Maduro is our Jesus, man, our Jesus. And you turn around and you do this to us? What you want me to do, Maduro? I got him right here, man. I'll pop him right here, man. Tell me, what you want me to do? What you want me to do? You know. And then he popped them, right? And then, they bury him out somewhere in the mountains of Venezuela out there, guys, because that's how that goes. That's how that really goes. So, all right, we got the who, what, where, when, and how, the explanations of everything. If you're just joining in, welcome back to La Voz de Atlanta. This is your host, Eduardo. We're getting into it. So the SEBIN, we already know, is the people who arrest the citizens, DGCIM. The snitching department within the same army of the same military infrastructure of Venezuela. Military snitching against other military officers, units, and departments. And then we've got the FAMB, the Fuerza Armada Bolivariana de Venezuela, right? The FAMB, which is the Army, the National Guard, the shampoo, right? The shampoo of armies. It's the 10-in-1, guys. It's the 10-in-1. They do everything. They do the National Guard. They do the Navy. They do the Coast Guard. They do the Marine Corps. They do the Navy, the Coast Guards, the Navy, all of it. The U.S. Air Force. That's the FAMB. They do it all in one, guys. It's the shampoo of militaries. It's a 10-in-1. You can't go wrong with that one. Oh, and I think there's only like 100, like 50,000 personnel doing all those branches. It can't go wrong, guys. It can't go wrong. It's not lipstick, it's chapstick, motherfuckers. It's cold out there. It's like 25 degrees right now. I don't have the windows all open, obviously. But, when I do go outside, the wind just smacks you in the head, and you gotta stay with your lips nice and moist, so you don't end up, getting your lips all cracked, right? All right, so now we know. Now we know the three branches of government of Venezuela, which is not legislative, executive, and judicial like the USA. It's SEBIN, DGCIM, and FAMB. That's what makes up the Venezuelan government. Am I lying? Guys, am I lying? I'm not. Ask any Venezuelan in your family, your friend group, anywhere out there, your job. You ask them, hey, what makes up the three branches of Venezuela of government? They're going to say, I don't know, the executive. You stop them right there. No, it's not. What do you mean? We're like, no, the three branches of government is the SEBIN, the DGCIM, and the FAMB. You're going to start laughing, bro. Because it's true. That's what makes up the three branches of Venezuela is the three military forces. All their purpose is to lock everybody up, to lock up themselves, and then to go against foreign military in case like what we're doing right now, sending over like the Army and the Navy to go and start the war. And you know what? Donald Trump, you've got my support, brother. Take out Maduro as a Venezuelan American, brother, who's been here in the United States, who grew up in Atlanta, Georgia since he was 5 years old. I will say, go ahead and do what you gotta do, man. Go ahead. We're gonna Maria Corina Machado is the one that we have to put into presidency. She's shown for over 2 decades that she should be the one to run Venezuela. Or put me in there, bro. Put me in there and I'll run my own country. Put my ass in Venezuela and I'll run that shit. All right. We'll turn that shit into a mini United States. But yeah, so that's the three branches of government right there in Venezuela: the SEBIN, the DGCIM, and the FAMB. Right? It's not the executive, it's not the judicial, it's not the legislative. It's the DGCIM, the SEBIN, and the FAMB. All right, the three military forces. Right. So that's who you got out there. Huh? All right, let's continuing on. Q&As, everything we're gonna hear on what it is, why it is. Oh. All right, continuing on. Is there something going on with my? I don't think there is. Is there? Let me see. Nice and quick. Testing my audio. Here, let's take a look. I don't think my audio's acting. No, I'm good on that one. I don't think my audio's. Or it could be. I don't know. Hello? Yeah. Or it could be. I don't know. Hello? Yeah, hold on. Yeah. Because sometimes this thing right here ends up. Because sometimes this thing right here ends up. Let me see. How it Testing, 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 1, 2, 3, testing. Testing, testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3. Let me see something, guys. Hold on. Testing, 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 1, 2, 3, testing. Golly, what's going on over here, guys? Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3. Let me see something, guys. Testing, 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 testing. Testing, 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 testing. I think we're good. Hold on. Testing, testing, testing. I think we're good. Hold on. Testing, testing. I think I know what's going on right here. It's always some technical difficulties. I swear. But I think I know what's going on right here. It's always some technical difficulties. It could be because of that. Hello, testing, testing. But I think I know what's going on right here. It's always some technical difficulties. Testing, 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 testing. Testing, testing, testing. Welcome back to the live stream, everybody. This is Eduardo with La Voz de Atlanta. All right, we got about 50 plus viewers on the live streams and about 5 on YouTube. So let's continue on just summary, going around with the summary right here, right? We've got, and I'll check later on if there is an audio problem. It seems to be fine to me, but if there is an audio problem, somebody could let me know in the comments or something down there below. It sounds to me like everything is good. So who, what, why, where, when, and how, right? On the Operation Southern Spear, right? 7, the GCIM, and the FAMB, the 3 branches of government that dictate Venezuela, which is just 3 different armies. You know, one of them snitches on one, the other one is to hunt down the residents, the citizens, and the other one is to, like, you know, get ready to, like, the soldiers, the majority, which is what, you know, you're seeing now, because the U.S. is getting ready to enter Venezuela. Who makes up Operation Southern Spear? It involves the U.S. government, the U.S. Southern Command, Southcom, the Department of Defense, and intelligence community, Venezuelan state actors involved in narco-terrorism networks, regional partners like Colombia, Brazil, Trinidad and Tobago, the Dutch Caribbean, non-state actors, Cartel of Sons, which is the cartel of Maduro's. Maduro has his own cartel, which is the Cartel of the Sons. That's what they call themselves, the Cartel of the Sons. Like in Jalisco, Mexico, you've got the Jalisco Nueva Generación de los Carteles, JNC, Genco or some shit, right? Same shit over here. You've got, you know, but this one is owned by Maduro himself, right? He's the one running Cartel de los Soles, Cartel of the Sons. And then you've got FARC dissidents, which are like Colombian and, you know, Colombian military people that, you know, work alongside in the military of Venezuela, and Hezbollah-linked cells, which is Iran, right? All that stuff, the Middle East, Iraq, you know, because, you know, China, Iran, and Russia always, it's, you know, the 3 of them working alongside each other to, you know, try and set up posts in Venezuela. That's why they're taking advantage of Maduro. And Maduro thinks he's really running game over here. That motherfucker is being exploited like an idiot, and he doesn't know it. He's like the equivalent of the idiot who takes the Snickers bars from like the freaking pillow in the prison system. You know, hey man, don't take the Snickers bar from the pillow, bro. Like they're gonna get you, man. Like they did that to me last week, bro. I took someone's Snickers from the pillow, bro, and they gave me from the bag, bro. Woo! And so, you know, don't take the fucking Snickers from the pillow out here in the American prison system, all right, Maduro? Now we've got the Maduro's regime military, and so, oh man, what is it? You've got El Chapo in the in Colorado's prison, ADX. You've got talks of sending Claudia Sheinbaum, the installed president who works alongside the cartel of Mexico. We want to send her also next to El Chapo. And the next one who we're going to take to El Chapo to be there is going to be Maduro. Maduro, you're going to be joining El Chapo. All of you guys are going to be joining hands together. No, we're going to send Maduro to Secot in El Salvador. Because he's South America's biggest gangster. Maduro, we're sending you to Secot, El Salvador, right there with Bukele. He's going to be running here. Imagine Maduro in Secot, El Salvador, and his prison guards are all Salvadorian, and his prison and his warden is Bukele. Bro, that would be like historic. All right, so what's going on here with Operation Southern Spear? Southern Spear is a multi-domain U.S. military and intelligence operation. They're focused on the tracking, the mapping, and disrupting of narco-trafficking networks. That's why you've got Big Hexeth out here talking all about bombing, all these routes. That's what they focus on. That's what's going on with that. Targeting terrorist-affiliated groups entrenched in Venezuela. Those have to do with China, Iran, and Russia. They mainly Iran. Tehran, those are the ones, the suicide bombers and everything. I'm going to blow everything up. And then end up like doing all that crazy shit. Then we've got monitoring and preparing for potential kinetic actions like limited strikes, special missions, mercenary work, this and that, information, things like that. Because in order to get to Maduro, you really got to know, like the U.S. military has to know what, where Maduro is. For the U.S. military to know where Maduro is, he's going to have, people in SEBIN who, will, get money out. Then you have the DGCIM. You got to have the DGCIM on your side. So Trump has to have the DGCIM on his side, or at least one or two guys, so that way we can know where Maduro is. And then we've got the FAMB. They don't really have anything to do with anything other than just, like protecting like the homeland in case foreign military actions were to be taken. But a lot of them are just gonna end up like hitting the floor. Other than just like protecting the homeland in case foreign military actions were to be taken. But a lot of them are just gonna. All right, continuing on. Let's see here. I'm over here because guys, is there like a vibrato, like a vibration coming out of this microphone? I don't know. I don't think there is. I was trying to see if there was. I don't think there is. If there is, I gotta fix that problem. But I think we're good. Let's take a look here. Testing, 1, 2, 3. 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 Technical difficulties. Yeah, I don't know what was happening right there for a minute. I don't know. Yeah, I think we're back on. I think we're back on. I think we're back on. I think I'm talking about the what is the Operation Southern Spear. Let's take a look here. Hold on one second. Yeah, we're good. We're back on. All right. So, guys, if you're just joining into the live stream, we've got more than 60 viewers now. That's actually more than before, surprisingly, because we should have lost about 5. We didn't, and if we would have, then that would have been fine. We're still here talking about it. What is Operation Southern Spear? It's breaking news. It's happening right now, and I'm talking about the Western Hemisphere. Basically, Venezuela, Menopause 7, which is the military who hunts down the citizens. Then you've got the DGCIM, the military that hunts down their own people when they're being disloyal. And then you've got the FAMB, which is the military itself of Venezuela, made up of the citizens, soldiers, and they are the equivalent of the shampoo bottle, all 10 in 1. Army, Navy, Coast Guard, National Guard, all that, U.S. Air Force, Space Force, all that. But they don't have a Space Force over there, they wouldn't be able to. How? They've got Manuelito up in the roof. Hey, man, here's the telescope, cabrón. Just look at, hey, man, where's it coming from? Where's it coming from? Huerpota? Tell me, Huerpota, where's it coming from? All right, so what is it? Operation Southern Spear, a multi-domain U.S. military and intelligence operation focused on the tracking, mapping, and disrupting of narcotics trafficking networks like the narco-terrorist boats, targeting terrorist-affiliated groups entrenched in Venezuela, which is like Iran, right? Sleeper cells. Monitoring and preparing for potential kinetic actions like the limited strikes and special missions. Strengthening regional surveillance through maritime, aerial, and space-based assets. Applying maximum strategic pressure to destabilize criminal state alliances. It's not a declared invasion. Donald Trump will be doing this based on the legal intelligence-supported counter-narcotics and counter-terrorism mission that allows the U.S. to justify operations under existing statutes. All right, so number 3, why? Right? Why is it happening? You guys are asking yourselves, okay, now we just did the who. Operation Southern Spear involves the United States government, U.S. Southern Command Post, the Department of Defense, the DoD, and the intelligence community, Venezuelan state actors involved in narco-terrorism networks, regional partners, Colombia, Brazil, Trinidad and Tobago, the Dutch Caribbean, non-state actors, Cartel de los Sols, which is the Maduro's personal cartel, and FARC dissidents, Hezbollah-linked cells, Iran, the Maduro regime's military and intelligence apparatus, 7 DGCIM, FAMB. All of that make up Operation Southern Spear. All of that. That's the entire package. The purpose is of Operation Southern Spear is to target transnational narco-terrorist threats operating from Venezuelan territory with state protection. Basically, that's what's happening. You guys think this is about the oil? You guys are stupid. I'm sorry to say it like that. And, it's just, for over 10 years, I've been trying to talk about all this, but now I am. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I got pissed about, I was having audio issues, and I don't think I'm having audio issues. Let me go ahead and try one more time to see. I think I'm good. It's just a little vibration going on. Yeah, I think I'm good. Hello? Yeah, I think I'm good with the audio. There's just a little bit of a vibration on this stuff, and oh, yeah, it's a little bit of a vibration on this stuff over here. Yeah, I don't know. There's like a little bit of something going on here with the audio. There's like I'll fix it later on. I don't know what that's going on there with that, but let's see here. That could also be because of something here. All right, so Operation Southern Spear. If you're just joining in, welcome back to the live stream. Eduardo with La Voz de Atlanta. Real quick summary under 10 seconds. This whole hour, I've been talking about. I haven't even begun to even talk about what this is. Between all the audio stuff and then everything else going on, 11:23 a.m. Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome. Look, Operation Southern Spear, because it's breaking news, right? So, who is it? It's the United States government, the U.S. Southern Command, the DoD and intelligence community, Venezuelan narco-terrorism networks, Colombia, Brazil, Trinidad and Tobago, and the Dutch Caribbean, Cartel of the Suns, Maduro's personal cartel, FARC dissidents, and Hezbollah-linked cells, Iran, the Maduro's military and intelligence apparatuses, Sabine, the ones who hunt down the citizens when they talk against the regime, the DGCIM, the military who hunts down disloyal military personnel and things like that, or like the ones who are about to snitch or like leave and things like that, right? And become like traitors, right? And the FAMB, they're the ones who are the shampoo, the all-10-in-one. They're the U.S. Army, the U.S. Navy, the U.S. military, the U.S. Marine Corps. They're the ones that make up FAMB. They're just one. It's men from the village. That's who it is. The men from the village. The purpose is the operation targets transnational narco-terrorist threats operating from Venezuelan territory with state protection. What is it? Operation Southern Spear is multinational U.S. military and intelligence operation focused on the tracking, mapping, and disrupting of narcotics trafficking networks, right? Targeting terrorist-affiliated groups entrenched in Venezuela, monitoring and preparing for potential kinetic actions, limited strike, special missions, strengthening regional surveillance through maritime, aerial, and space-based assets, applying maximum strategic pressure to destabilize criminal state alliances. It's not a declared invasion because it's a legal intelligence-supported counter-narcotics and counter-terrorism mission that allows the U.S. to justify operations under existing statutes, right? Now, why? Key drivers, narco-terrorism designation. The U.S. uses the narco-terrorism classification to justify limited kinetic action without formally declaring war. 2. National security. Venezuela has become a safe haven for Hezbollah cells, FARC dissidents, Cartel de los Soles, Iranian Quds Force-linked operators. 3. Hemisphere stability. Instability in Venezuela affects migration flows, border insecurity, drug routes into the U.S., and 4. Strategic competition. Russia, China, and Iran have deepened military, intelligence, and financial ties in Venezuela. Operation Southern Spear is partly a response to great power encroachment in the Western Hemisphere. 4. Where? Primary areas of focus. Venezuelan coastal zones used for drug shipment routes. Could be like the Margarita Islands, all this stuff. Right there, damn near Puerto Rico, guys. Right there in Puerto Rico. Zulia. That's where I'm from, because it's right there by the Caribbean. So you've got these ones: Apure, Zulia, Amazonas, hubs of guerrilla and terror activity. If I would have been out there still in Venezuela, in Zulia, especially in my country, bro, what? They're the hubs of guerrilla and terror activity? Huh. Man, put me over there, man. Put me over there, coach. Put my ass over there, coach. I'll fuck them up myself. I'll take some good old American weapons out there and I'll fuck them up myself. The Venezuelan Colombian border, right? Caribbean maritime checkpoints, Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire, Dutch territories, crucial for radar and air operations. U.S. naval and air assets positioned in the Caribbean Sea. When the operation escalated in late 2025 as intelligence confirmed increased narco-terrorist coordination inside Venezuela. Maduro's regime requested amnesty for 100 military officials and $200 million in exchange for peace. Corina Machado's internal legitimacy strengthened, the one that's coming up to be president right now for Venezuela. U.S. Venezuela diplomatic pathways collapsed. The timeline shows heightened urgency driven by geopolitical activity and intelligence reporting. How? Operational methods, surveillance, MQ9 Reapers, P-8 Poseidon aircraft. Damn. So satellite monitoring, naval interdiction missions, 2, intelligence coordination, the CIA, BIA, NSA, Southcom fusion centers, coordination with Colombian and Brazilian intelligence. That means they're coordinating with Colombians and Brazils. Human intelligence from defectors, right? 3, legal mechanisms, narco-terrorism authorities, counterterrorism statutes, international maritime law. 4, potential kinetic components, limited precision strikes, special forces, extractions, maritime boarding operations. 5, non-kinetic tools like sanctions, blockade, light restrictions, economic intelligence warfare. Now, why the U.S. is acting now? You guys are like, oh, why is Trump going to war with Venezuela now? Why they couldn't have done it before a long time ago, like 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago? Why all of a sudden do we, the United States, now have to go to war against the United States? Well, I'll tell you why. I just noticed that the screen wasn't up for you guys. I just put it up, right? But glad you're hearing this. At least it's not all gun waste. All right, so let's continue over here, right? Why the U.S. is acting now, right? Operation Southern Spirit is built on the doctrine that failed states plus hostile foreign powers equal national security threat. That's what I've been saying. Venezuelans have been on this for many, many years, guys. For many, many years, we've known that the southern hemisphere, Venezuela, was being overtaken by, foreign influence, like in the Middle East, Russia, Iran, and China. We can have that, and it's been building up because Maduro has been selling us out. Maduro has been selling out. Right, and because Maduro has been selling now we're gonna go and get Maduro's ass. Right, so he asked for it, right? Nobody else did it for Maduro but himself, right? Maduro did it to himself. Yes. Right, so he asked for it, right? Nobody else did it for Maduro but himself, right? Maduro did it to himself. Testing my audio over here because I'm trying to make sure that everything is good on this. I don't know. I keep hearing a little bit of a vibration again on this thing. I don't know if it's. Testing. Hello. Testing. Hello. We're talking about the Maduro situation right now with Trump, Operation Southern Spear. Testing. Operation Southern Spear. I think I know what was going on. Let me see. Operation Southern Spear. Hello. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello. Let me see. Hold on, guys. Let me fix up the audio. Let me see, because I think I know what's going on. This option out here about some audio situation. Let me see. Testing audio, 1, 2, 3. Testing audio, 1, 2, 3. Testing audio, 1, 2, 3. Testing the audio, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Yeah, I think I fixed it. I think it's 95% there. I don't know. I'm gonna check later on and figure out what the hell's happening. For the last hour, if you're just joining into the live stream, welcome, welcome. This is Eduardo with La Voz de Atlanta. We're covering right now, basically for the last hour and 30 minutes or some change, we've been talking about Operation Southern Spear. Who it is, it's made up of the United States government, U.S. Southern Command, the DOD, Maduro's, cartel, and also military groups like SEBIN, 7, DGCIM, and FAMB. The operation targets transnational narco-terrorist threats operating from Venezuelan territory with state protection. So basically, Maduro is like actually using not only Venezuela as a not only is Maduro selling drugs, but he's using Venezuela as a trap house. That's the best way I can describe it. Maduro is using Venezuela as a trap house for other countries to use it as a trap house to like set up shop and like sell to other, sell their product to whoever the fuck they want to sell it to. Maduro, and then you guys are thinking it's the oil. Trump wants Maduro because it's about the oil. You fucking idiots! It's because Maduro sold our country out to anybody for the highest price, and to different countries, not to just one, to many different countries for different things, for different resources. And so, because he did that, right? He messed up. He messed up big time because that's now that looks bad on the USA because we're right up here, Venezuela and Miami, probably about 100 miles, about an hour from each other. So you can't have a country like that operating with all that stuff going on right there or anywhere in the globe. That's dangerous anywhere in the globe, but especially right here in our backyard. No wonder Trump has to take out Maduro, and while we're getting ready to go in and, do this operation because it has to be done, guys. Otherwise, you're letting Maduro set up Venezuela to be a trap house. You can't let Venezuela be a trap house. All right, so, and it's not an invasion because it's a legal intelligence-supported counter-narcotics and counter-terrorism mission that allows the U.S. to justify operations under existing statutes. The key drivers, we already went over them: the narco-terrorism designation, the national security, the hemisphere stability, and the strategic competition, right? Russia, China, Iran, all that. The places where it's happening in the Apure, Zulia, Amazonas hubs are guerrilla and terror activity. That's where it's being done. When is it happening? It's happening right now. Intelligence confirmed increased narco-terrorist coordination inside Venezuela. Maduro's regime requested amnesty for 100 military officials and 200 million in exchange for peace. Nope, we don't. The USA does not negotiate with terrorists, or in this case, Trump does not negotiate with narco-terrorists. I repeat, let it be known for YouTube and Truth Social and X and all these other platforms. Again, I'll say it again, as a Venezuelan American, the USA, Nicolas Maduro, you're sadly mistaken, my boy. Muchacho, is this? It's the USA. Trump does not negotiate with narco-terrorists. The USA has never, and he will never. So no, those 100 military officials are gonna, they're gonna get sniped in the head. They're gonna, how about for free? And that's it, sniped. That's it. Send their family a bouquet of flowers, or arepas. They're probably hungry. $200 million, dude. Yeah, we gotta get money from you back. Huh? How about that? Where's the houses hiding that money in between the walls? Where, right? And then we're gonna put Marina Machado to run as president of Venezuela next. Now, how is this being done? Surveillance, MQ-9 Reapers and P-8 Poseidon aircraft, satellite monitoring, naval interdiction missions, intelligence coordination with the CIA, DIA, NSA, Southcom fusion centers, coordination with Colombian and Brazilian intelligence, human intelligence from defectors, legal mechanisms like narco-terrorism authorities, counterterrorism statutes, international maritime laws, potential kinetic components, limited precision strikes, special forces extractions, maritime boarding operations. Non-kinetic tools include sanctions, blockade, light restrictions, and economic intelligence warfare. Those are the five. Right now, why is the U.S. acting now? Because a lot of you guys were like, "Oh, why is it happening now? It couldn't have been a long time ago. This and that. We should have already been doing this for many, many years ago." Well, because now is the perfect time because it's just history unfolding. That's all it is. Operation Southern Spear is built on the doctrine that failed states plus hostile foreign powers equal national security threat. Venezuela currently presents a drug super corridor. Yes, like I said it. Venezuela, Maduro is acting like the trap house for all other countries to come in and set up shop for their narco terrorist businesses, which is not good for us right here in the Caribbean, with the United States being so close to Venezuela, with Puerto Rico in the Caribbean and all these other islands and everything. You can't have that open air drug market operating in our Western Hemisphere. It's not about the oil; it's about all that. So. Operation Southern Spear is built on the doctrine that failed states plus hostile foreign powers equal national security threat. Venezuela currently presents a drug super corridor, that foreign military footprint, terrorist safe havens, collapsed governance. The U.S. sees this as a pre-crisis moment, meaning intervention now prevents a larger conflict later. Two, let's talk about the legal architecture. The U.S. is not invading; it is executing lawful counterterrorism operations. Legally, the U.S. can strike drug kingpins, terrorist collaborators, foreign agents aiding cartels without congressional declaration of war. That is why there's a lot of misinformation right now on X, right now on YouTube, right now on all these other platforms talking about that the U.S. is not invading, or that the U.S. is invading. The U.S. is invading. Donald Trump is invading Venezuela. He's not invading Venezuela because contextually, legally speaking, he's doing it under the lawful counterterrorism operations. Maduro did this to himself for setting up Venezuela to be a fucking trap house and letting other state actors and foreign military shit, start setting up shop for their fucking businesses. He sold out my country. Maduro needs to get out. Fuck that guy. And our women are wearing hijabs. We don't want our women wearing hijabs. I love Muslims. I don't have anything against Muslims. I love all people. But our women, we're Catholics. We're not Muslims. Right? But this is what you get as a result of Maduro selling out our country. So Trump is not invading Venezuela. He's executing a lawful counterterrorism operation because he's set up Venezuela to be a trap house, and he's selling drugs through these routes, corridors, intelligence, channels, right? And so we already have all this. It took years and years and years of this for the United States to finally, be able to have all the evidence they need to be able to swoop in and do this operation without any congressional hearings or anything like that. And they know it. The Democrats know it. The Republicans know it. Those who are against this whole thing, they know, that Trump is actually acting in good legislative measures, all lawful. No laws are being broken here. Continuing on, because Maduro is a narco kingpin in South America. The regional chessboard, the Caribbean has turned into a military chessboard. U.S. naval assets positioning. Dutch Caribbean radar integration. Colombian cooperation. You've got Gustavo Petro, the president of Colombia, cooperating now with Trump. At first he was like, "Get out of here, you son of a bitch. Hey, everybody, look at Trump over here, man. You're gonna get it, man. You're gonna get it now." But you know what happened? Gustavo Petro's like, "Hey, you know what? You're right, man." Brazilian quiet alignment. That means Lula da Silva is now like, "Trump, man. Chew good, man. We're gonna get chew on our side, man." So what that does is it isolates Venezuela's coastline and limits Russian or Iranian reinforcement capability. Why Russia, China, and Iran can't stop it? That's the famous one. Well, if China, Iran, and Russia have invested so much fucking money into Venezuela and Maduro, why can't they stop the war? Or, what the whole thing that's being done right now? Well, because one, logistics disadvantage. They can't deploy forces across the Caribbean without triggering a war. You think that China can just send over boats over Mexico and all that, or like airplanes, like they would have to cross over nations to come over here for that, or like missiles and stuff like that. Iran and Russia, they're all on the other side of the oceans. They're on another hemisphere. Where Maduro fucked up is that he aligned himself with the Middle East. He should have aligned himself with the Samoan Islands. At least then he would have had some heavy motherfuckers, defend the country. That would have been a better option right there. That beats any tanker out there, I'll tell you that. Alright, so why Russia, China, and Iran? Right, they can't stop it because it's a logistical disadvantage. They can't deploy forces across the Caribbean without triggering a war. It's a political risk. None will risk conflict with the U.S. over Maduro. They're like, Maduro? For that guy? Man, get the fuck out of here, bro. You can have him for free. Economic focus. All three are dealing with domestic or regional crises. Russia, you got Russia over there dealing with Ukraine. You got China over there trying to take over Vietnam. They're doing it themselves too. They're like, hey, Trump, man, we're not even gonna bitch at you, man. We're over here trying to take Vietnam, bro, too, man. Hey, all cheers, bro. And then Iran over there, the whole situation with Israel and Gaza, right? So it's like it's a Maduro lost, bro. Maduro freaking lost. He should have just kept it cool, right? Level one understanding. Let me see what we got going on. So, what is Operation Southern Spear attempting to disrupt in Venezuela? Why does the U.S. classify the operation under narco-terrorism? How does Venezuela... So what is Operation Southern Spear attempting to disrupt in Venezuela? Again, we just talked about it, right? Is to take out Maduro. This guy's, selling, he sold out the country. He's letting Venezuela be a trap house for other countries, state actors, selling drugs and intelligence. And he set up my country to be a fucking slum, dude. Like a political power hub of slumlord of like black market foreign intelligence and drug operations and everything for other countries. Like that's exactly essentially what it is. Why does the U.S. Classify the operation under narco-terrorism, guys? Why? Let me give you a second to remember why. Because Maduro did it to himself. Right? Maduro did it to himself, basically, right here for setting up my country to be a hub of all the crap, that's encroaching all our Western Hemisphere, doing it under the legal intelligence supported counter-narcotics and counter-terrorism mission, based off all of the statutes that we already have. So we got all that going on, right? We have some solutions, right? I'm going to start wrapping this up because I'm going to go get some breakfast, guys. I'm going to stay here for like another 10 minutes. I might be wrapping it up faster than that. Some solutions: diplomatic regional summit with Colombia, Brazil, and Caribbean states, coordinated demand for supervised elections, but that's already too late. 2. Security: expanding joint maritime patrols, high value target arrests outside Venezuelan territory. But you're just cutting off the limbs of the problem. You're not actually, spraying the alcohol on the fucking wound to actually, relieve the pain. Economical, we can do sanctions that target regime elites, not civilians, but it's always gonna, they're already being targeted by Sabine. What the civilian, they're gonna go after the civilians then and start using them as hostage. You can't do that. Transparent oil revenue monitoring, that has nothing to do with the problem again. Humanitarian, protected corridors for Venezuelan civilians. And what, letting the narco-terrorists go on the other side? No. Refugee processing improvements in Latin America. Not until we get this shit sorted. Transitional planning, framework for a post-Maduro reconstruction after we get them out. Amnesties for non-criminal military officers. None at all. They participated in the whole bullshit. Take them out too. International stabilization mission after we take them all out. There it is. Boom. I'm gonna go and get some breakfast. I'm hungry. There it is, guys. The fortress. You guys want the fortress out here in the United States? I don't think so. They should. That used to be a mall, guys. One of the best. All that around is a parking lot. It used to be one of the greatest malls, and now it's turned into a fucking disgusting ass prison by the Maduro the regime. But Trump, get this guy, man. You gotta get this guy. There's no other way. You gotta get this guy, and that's it, man. Ain't no other way around it. Can't have this going around. We're Western Hemisphere. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna see about the video with that audio situation, vibration on this stuff and everything. I'm gonna be logging off, and it's probably nothing to do with much. I don't know. I'll see what the hell's happening over here. But yeah, if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, if you like, comment, and subscribe right now. Go to YouTube. Check out La Voz de Atlanta website. Subscribe to my ex. You can't subscribe actually. The option I'm saying like, follow me. We're gonna get into it. I'll be back this afternoon, and I'm gonna fix this audio situation again. I'm not sure what the hell's happening. I know it's probably something dumb, but I don't know what's going on. It's like popping. The audio's like popping, crackling and popping. I'll figure it out. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good day.